Many of the exhibits at the Medieval Torture Museum contain explicit and graphic depictions of torture devices and methods. Viewer discretion is advised. I think I'm going to go hunt ghosts at the Torture Museum, I said when my husband asked what I planned to do while he attended his conference. We'd walked past the Medieval Torture Museum a time or two on previous trips to Chicago, but it wasn't a place that interested him. In fact, I'd even forgotten it was someplace I wanted to check out until I stumbled across it while looking for other things to do in the Windy City that I hadn't done yet. I'd crossed off pretty much everything I'd wanted to see from Atlas Obscura's list of cool and unusual things to do. Their list was pretty extensive, but was I missing something? I had a sneaking feeling that I was. And turns out I was right. Atlas Obscura didn't have an entry for the Medieval Torture Museum, but Tripadvisor did. Since it was right around the corner from our hotel, and it offered ghost hunting in a torture museum, I mean, come on, no brainer. I had to go. And how was it? Is the museum worth a visit the next time you're in Chicago? And how was the ghost hunting? Did I catch any? Let's start with a quick pass through the museum first, which is top-notch and pretty disturbing, especially when you're all alone with some of those creepy exhibits. Most of the time, I had the place to myself during my 2 visits there. Yes, 2. I went back the next day after reviewing the videos I took and realized I'd been using the ghost hunting app all wrong, so I wanted to try again. Bear with me, I'll get to that. As far as the exhibits, they're full scale and no holds barred. Many include mannequins demonstrating how the various devices were used, and some of the torturers were quite disturbing. The one that creeped me out the most was Burnt Bill. He gave off simultaneous Silence of the Lambs and Leatherface vibes, and had me praying that if mannequins suddenly started coming to life, this was not the day they would do that. Besides their attention to detail, the displays are also interactive. You could dunk a witch, which was really heavy by the way. You could lift lids and see what was inside, which was often people or their parts, sometimes joined by creepy things like snakes. You could even weigh yourself on a witch scale. In general, I try to avoid scales as much as possible because they're no fun, let's face it. But this one was a hoot. Instead of numbers, it had creatures. And no surprise, I weighed in as a witch because that's all those scales were really good for. But still, that's the best time I ever had stepping on a scale. But it was the ghost hunting experience that I'd been most curious about. How would it work? Did you have a guide or would they give you special equipment? Did it cost extra? Turns out it was included with the price of admission. All you had to do was download the free app. You could also listen to an audio guide via the app, which also had a lot of great information. The ghost detector looked very official with its green-tinged, almost night vision-like screen display. At the bottom, there were a few monitors, including a ghost radar that showed a red blip when a ghost was near, and an EVP sound wave. Walk around slowly to detect supernatural entities, the app instructed when I first opened it. It tells you when it detects a ghost, but I struggled to find anything at first, especially because I was going too fast and not paying attention to the helpful arrows that pointed me towards where the ghosts were. When it detects a ghost, it lets you know with a bar at the top of your screen that says, "Ghost was detected." It also includes the ghost's age. If you tap the Open Legend button, a new screen pops up with information about the ghost's name and story. The first ghost I caught, I didn't realize you could tap that button to get more information about it, and then I moved or I took too long or something and the button disappeared. Also during my first visit, I didn't realize the ghosts would materialize on screen when you caught them. I happened to spot part of one when I was reviewing my videos back in the hotel room later that night. And when I did, I was all, okay, how many ghosts did I miss catching? There was only one way to answer that, which is why I had to go back for a second visit. I caught the same 3 on both visits: the Salem false witness, the blinded architect, and the forgotten pirate. It was actually a glimpse of the forgotten pirate's ghost on my video review that clued me in that you could see the ghost and why I went back. But it was the first 2, the Salem false witness and the blinded architect, that made me realize that in truly ghostly fashion, the ghosts of the medieval torture museum move around. On the first visit, I found the Salem false witness near the witch scales, but on the second visit, she was in an earlier part of the museum. Same goes for the blinded architect. The first time, he was the last ghost I found in the small hallway before you head down the stairs to exit. He was in one of the 3rd or 4th rooms on my second visit. I found 7 more ghosts on that second visit. The oldest was the ghost of John Dragfoot at 720 years old. The second oldest was the Wheeled Rights Defender at 535 years old. The youngest ghost was Warm Me Up Mary at 222 years old. I think she was my favorite. I liked her vibe. She seemed friendly and fun and looked like she was about to start dancing. I also dug her groovy nightcap. There was one ghost in particular, however, that I was looking for that I didn't find. The most terrifying apparition of them all, the ghost of Thomas the Executioner. He's the other reason I went back for a second time. I really wanted to try to find him. Then, all of a sudden, it happened. I found an apparition wielding an axe. The other ones didn't do much besides float. This one made a chopping motion with his bladed weapon. It had to be Thomas, right? Is that why they deemed him the most terrifying of them all? I eagerly clicked on his legend, only to find out that, no, it wasn't Thomas. It was Lucas, the Inquisitor, who slipped. He died from hitting his head on the floor. Oh well, guess I'll have to try again next time we go to Chicago. Maybe the 3rd time will be the charm. Have you ever ghost hunted at the Chicago Torture Museum? If so, I'd love to hear about your experience. Leave a comment letting me know. If not, would you be brave enough to ghost hunt amidst these macabre displays? Let me know that too. Well, that does it for this time, fellow restless spirit. Time to say goodbye. Thanks for watching. Until our paths cross again. Ciao for now. Unless you want to keep watching, then I recommend checking this out.